Okay, so we're in standard tuning for this, and we're in the key of D. And I'll just go over the chords that are involved on the left hand. So you've got your basic D chord there. And sometimes we'll hammer on that note there, the third, the F sharp. Sometimes we'll hammer this note on, the A, the fifth. And then we've got this opening chord, which is, it's like an F played up here in that D format. And we take our little finger off, and that's where we, we'll hammer on here. We'll hammer on the on that C note. Okay, and then we've just got real common chords from there on in. We've got an F, which Neil seems to want to play like that all the time, and sometimes he'll hook his thumb around there too. So, sometimes I'll do that instead of that. Then you've got a G played like that. Okay, and then you've got a C, or you can play it like that too. And later on we've got an A minor 7. It's like an A minor with your third finger taken off, so you get that G in there. Open G, and then we've got an E minor 7, which is like E minor, but just take your third finger off and just fret the A string on the 2nd fret, and we also add the 3rd fret of the B string. That's in the chorus. Okay. So those are all the chords involved. Basically the way it breaks down is there's the intro, there's a verse, there's a chorus, there's the outro. And then there's a couple little connecting instrumental type things, okay? The intro is, it's very iconic, It's like, as soon as you hear this, you know what song it is, right? I really think that Neil Young is not really the kind of guy that is super specific about things, I've seen him, I've obviously heard this on the album hundreds of times. I've seen him play it live a whole bunch of different times, and he does it different every time. Even after having said that, sometimes he'll do it different, but certain sections he seems to do exactly the same every time, okay? But let's deal with the intro. I've seen him play the intro, just whatever way, like... just basic kind of stuff, right? And if you want to just keep it at that, that's cool. But what I've tried to do here is pick off pretty well, as best as I can, what he's playing on the album, okay? Okay, so, and so with the right hand, we want to mute, we want to palm mute, we want to get our palm against the strings there, so we're, in that intro part, we're getting a nice muted sound. And the way he strums, he's very, it's kind of like that, right? Just to... you got to get that kind of feel with this song, right? Okay? But the specific notes in the beginning are this. So he hits the D and the G string, with the C note there, 5th fret of the G. That's how it starts. That's on the 1. Okay, so it's... So what you have to get in your head is this. Okay, that's kind of what's happening there. But he's mixing in the mute and the strumming, and sometimes he's hitting 2 notes at a time, so it kind of blurs a little bit. But that's the basic melody that you got to think of there. Okay, so you note how that E keeps, or the open D keeps hitting on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Not every time, but it's just kind of a feel thing, that you got to get there. So yeah, to finish that phrase off, you got to be thinking this, right? Then we're down to the D. So slowly it'd be like. with the strumming, where it's going to sound like this. Okay, and then when we get down here, this is quite specific. It's the open D. So just on the E string, and then the G string. So, and the D string again. So, and here. So that whole bit would be. You know, you kind of mute that a bit too, right? So it's. So from the beginning. And now the second time is a little bit different. He goes like this. So he gets those strums in there. So we're not so much worried about that. We're not so much worried about that melodic sort of thing. It's more just strumming that second time. So. And then we're back down to the D. Same thing, but this time he uses the D note on the third fret of the B string. So it's right here. Okay, and then we get into the singing, and the singing pattern is different than the intro pattern. Okay, so a little tip on the beginning on that thing, like when to do that. You know, I mean, you could just, I've seen him play it and he just does it randomly, just seems to do it whenever he feels like it. But on the record, that hammer-on is coming, if you think of it, you know, when you play the intro, sing the first verse in your head, and that hammer-on comes on the first word of every line. So, I mean, beat-wise, it's 1, 2, and then it's 1, 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but counting, you know, counting sucks, right? You don't want to be counting when you're playing. But if you sing it in your head and you just hammer on the first word of every line, so it's old, look, I'm. So it's old man, look at my life, I'm a lot like you were. So it's old, look, I'm. Old, look, I'm. Okay, so a lot of people have trouble with this opening bit. I mean, I had trouble with it too. It's kind of weird, you know? If you think of that trick, right? First word of every line is when you hammer on. It'll make a lot more sense in your head. Like, even to begin with, forget about all the, you know, the specifics of all that stuff. Just strum it and just practice getting that on there on the first word of every line, right? So... Okay, so old, look at I'm. Okay, so there you go. There's the trick for that. Now, when he starts singing, it changes. And he doesn't do that on the first word of every line. He does it on the second word of every line when he's actually singing. Okay, when the singing starts. So instead of old, it's man. So it's old man. It's not necessarily the second word, but okay, so let me think. It's a old man, look at my life, I'm a lot. So it's old man, life. So it's man, life, a lot. Okay, so those are the words you hammer on. So singing starts. Old man, look at my life, I'm a lot. Here we go. So far, so good, right? And the strumming on that is just, it's basic. There's really not a lot of specifics on that other than that hammer on there. So. Okay, so now once we've got all that out of the way, that's a big part of it, you know. Like if you can nail that first part, then it's clear sailing, because the rest of it's pretty easy. Okay, so then we go to this little interlude thing, and that sounds like this. Okay, so we're just on the D there. So we want to think about hitting those, the B and the E string, and then hitting the G string with that hammer-on. So it's like, of course you hit the D first, right? So, and then F, right? Just hammering on the A again. Then to the C chord, and we do this lick. That's a hammer-on onto that E there. Okay, so one more time. Okay, and then we do that like backwards. So instead of going, we can do it backwards to go. Okay, so now we're into the verse, and the verse is just, you know, there's a couple little things he's doing. He's hammering on a couple of notes here and there, but it's basically just strumming, you know. So the verse is just D, F, C, G, D, F, C, F, D, F, C, G, D, C, and I do it that way there, just so I don't hit that open E, because I don't want the third there. That's the E is the third, right? I don't want that inversion, so I'd rather hit that G note. Okay, so we go to this bar chord F, or you can do the F like that with your thumb. F, G. Okay, and then this next bit is very specific too. He does this the same every single time. It's a little intro to the chorus, right? And it's this lick. I'll just play it. Okay, so we're starting on the G, and it's right. Pretty simple. Third fret of the E, open A, second fret of the A, third fret of the A. So it's G, A, B, C. And then the D chord, right? So we're here. Okay, and that first, you know, it's kind of hard to get your whole chord there quickly. So if you just, you know, get those two or those three. Okay, so, and it's two there. Down, down, right? And then we do this lick. So that's hammering on here. Okay, and then we go A minor 7, right? So it's like an A minor. Take your third finger off. So. And then we go to that E minor 7, okay? Which is just like E minor, but that's E minor 7, right? You just put your little finger here on the third fret of the B string. And like so, right? There and there. So it's okay, and that G comes on the offbeat, right? And it's just one shot, so it's into the chorus, okay? So try that whole lick. So then the chorus is, and when he does the chorus, he will hook his thumb there to get that F sharp. Put the third in the bass there, right? And now we go into that next little interlude thing, which we've already kind of learned when we're here. Okay, so then we do another verse, just the strumming. And we do another chorus. We've already learned those parts, okay? So now really the only thing to learn is the outro. It's similar to the intro, but it's kind of a different kind of variation on it, okay? So coming out of the chorus, the outro goes like this. So what we're doing is we're kind of doubling up on those hammers. Can't really explain this stuff. You just have to watch it and sort of figure it out, get it in your head, right? So slowly it'd be a okay, again. The ending of that phrase where you just put in that extra rhythm. Like that. Right? From there, you do the thing on the A, except it's just one hit on the A there, on the A note on the G string, right? Okay, so that whole bit is. Okay, and we're going A, right? We're not doing the D thing, we're not going. Okay, and then we're going to go back into the very beginning lick. Well, not the very beginning, but sort of the second part of the beginning, where he's singing, and those hammers are on the first word of every line. Okay, so old man, look at my life, I'm a lot like. Okay, so we go into that. So coming out of that double hammer-on thing. Okay, going to the D there, the A the first time, D there. Okay, and we do that again. And then we're into the ending section, okay? So which is... Okay, so I'll play that whole bit. So coming out of the chorus... Okay, that last bit I think is... And I think I went... You don't do that. You don't do like you did before. It's just... G, B, right? And that's it. That's the end. In essence, it's a fairly simple song, but if you want to get all those little nuances in there, it takes a fair bit of work. And of course, the timing it is a little difficult. But if you use those tricks, the lines, the first word, and just what what I explained to you about the words, of the singing, it'll really help. I mean, when I kind of figured that out, I just kind of bang, right away I started to understand that, rather than sitting there counting everything, because you can't count when you're playing. It just kind of goes against the whole nature of music, right? You don't want to be sitting there counting, so you want to feel it, right? But if you can use the words as prompts, it's way better, and it just makes more sense, in your mind. Just it's easier to put together. Anyways, hope you got something out of it. See ya.